Right, we finally have the leaks for Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo 24. This is the penultimate chapter, you know, assuming we don't get a surprise extension or like new series immediately. And as always, name of the game for me is like trying to not spread misinformation. So this is going to be a bit of a weird one where I'm basically going to sit here and whiz you guys through, you know, the chapter. Terrible translations, I know, it's a normal leaks thing. But I'll whiz you through the chapter and then we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation, alright? There's some things that have come up, some like opinions the community has, it's a bit of a mess, right? And I want to talk about it because I feel like things are being people are rushing to conclusions, you know, interpretations maybe aren't the best they could be, but again, with the terrible translations of these leaks, what can you do? So we're basically expanding on last chapter, right? So we're doing this harmony ritual thing. Tsurugi, Yuka, and Cross have been brought into the kind of like soul place, so their physical bodies are like still where they are, but their souls are in this, you know, soul place, sort of. And they're doing the, you know, ritual. The art is absolutely amazing, by the way, but they're doing this kind of harmony ritual thing to basically make the world so that cursed spirits, Callians, and the Romelians kind of aren't able to perceive each other as the same anymore. So like Romelians won't have any attachment to cursed spirits, and cursed spirits won't have attachment to Romelians, and you know, it will kind of go to a normal human to cursed spirit kind of relationship, very similar to that. That's one of our main goals, all right? Remember, I'll be completely honest, I don't know. I don't understand, because we have one translated chapter explaining it, and I feel like this is the second part of that chapter, which has been translated horribly. So like, I don't understand the exact, like, specific methods that are being used. I don't really know what's happening right now with, like, you know, changing the souls and how he's using, you know, Yuta's ring, the soul book, and Mahito's technique in tandem with his technique to make this all happen. I don't get the technicalities yet. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to. I'm not going to tell you how it works, because I don't know. But we do know that there's two main objectives here, alright? First main objective is make the Callians and Romelians not be able, like, make them be able to distinguish between each other. So make them not view each other as the same colored soul, I guess. And then the big goal is reduce cursed energy globally as much as possible, to the point where a handful of cursed spirits are, you know, knocking about in the future. And then obviously Yuji's going to put countermeasures in place to make sure that those cursed spirits don't cause problems. So those are the two main objectives, all right? And we're just kind of completing that ritual. I think it succeeded. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's beautiful. There's this really interesting panel, actually, where Yuji's kind of like walking down a lane, and all these kind of like souls are like floating through the air. Kind of looks like snow. It's really nice. Yuka is alive. Yes, I know Mahoraga's ritual has been nullified. Yuka lives. Dborah lives. Dborah is now back on his homeworld because Maru was able to just blip him and his sister there for some reason. God knows how he's able to do that. Don't worry, we'll get to Maru's technique in a second, alright, chill. But yeah, this is something that, like, I feel like it was, I was saying since the beginning, like, it was always going to happen. Like, and there wasn't going to be a winner of this fight. It was always going to be nullified. My initial theory was that Yuji would take care of Mahoraga, but that idea was scratched once Yuji was like, nah. Bro, so many people complaining about the result being off-screen, or that Dborah didn't just murk Mahoraga, or that Mahoraga didn't murk Dborah. It's like, bro, listen, we got an amazing fight out of it, but from the very beginning, we can tell Gege laid it out for us, like, that's not what's gonna happen. You know, like, Yuka's not gonna die off-screen in the shadows like that, and I don't think Dborah is just gonna die to Mahoraga either. You know, I mean, even if he did, Yuka would still die, right? As soon as Yuka entered a state of suspended animation, that was it. Alright, she was gonna die if that fight was won by either side. It was never gonna happen. You know, so it's like, let's not call it bad when we don't get our hype moments on aura and power scaling and stuff, right? No, this is fine. The Dborah thing is fine. The only kind of ass-pully thing is how the hell Maru sent him back to his planet. Other than that, I think the whole thing with Dborah and Mahoraga is peak. It's beautiful. I love it. It's awesome. It's great. Mostly. But anyway, yeah, she's alive. Tsurugi wakes up. Maru's still there, so their physical bodies are still kind of where they were. And then we basically just get into like, oh, everyone's fine, cool. They hold, the Romelians hold a meeting on the spaceship thing. kind of like parliamentary sort of thing. Mario and Cross basically say what they did. Oski starts complaining. He's like, what a bad crime. Now what are we going to do? Cursed spirits or carrions or whatever are going to be born and then they're going to hunt our children and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a whole issue. It's a whole thing. He's carrying the weight of the sin, all right? And fuck Oski. That's basically what's going on there. And then we have Dborah back on his homeworld. Obviously, the curse has been broken by the Black Rope, so he's there with his sister. Immediately, oh, he's so cool, bro. Again, the art in this chapter is, I mean, it always is, but like the art in particular is phenomenal in this chapter. He pulls up, very stoic, normal Dborah things, aura farming. The Deskunte chief immediately shits his pants. Dborah is then like, yep, curse is broken, mate. So actually, no, his sister is like, curse is broken. We get the sister face reveal. She kind of looks like Sakura. I don't know, it's just my first thoughts. And then, bro, they go outside, like, he blows up the whole palace, right? Dborah just like, decimates the palace. There's loads of Deskuntans around, and basically Dborah just decapitates the chief. Like, just straight up, zoop, dead, gone. Like, not even close, just bip. And then everyone bows down to him, and he says he's going to become the chief of the village, purely so he can build a big monument of Dborah, and then he's going to resign, and they can do whatever they want, which I really like. It's a nice resolution. It does honestly make me think that Gege's next story might be, like, not on Earth. I think if he continues JJK, there's a very good chance we get a series in the future about JJK that has nothing to do with Earth. It could just be following maybe Dborah's sister as a protagonist, or Dborah himself. I don't know, like, I feel like we're doing something with this. I don't know. I like the idea of it as well. I know people would hate that because it's not their usual JJK, you know, gojo glaze slop. It would be very far removed, but I'd be down. I'd be so down. I think that would be dope. That's, again, speculation. Everything is speculation, right? These leaks are terrible. But yeah, so that's basically the Dborah's story kind of wrapped up for Modulo, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that is like the chapter until we get to the final page where Yuji walks into a storehouse, a warehouse kind of thing, holding loads of what look like cursed tools and, you know, scripts and whatever. And we hear, yo, long time no see, Itadori. And it's fucking Panda. Oh, of course it is. I mean, I should have seen this coming because, you know, cursed corpses, housing souls. I should have thought Panda would come into this somehow because that was one of the kind of loose hanging plot points in the original JJK series as cursed corpses. It seems we're going to have a use for him. Unless he's just there for, you know, comedic relief and Yuji's looking for something else, which I guess could be possible, but it feels, you know, for the cliffhanger of the second to last episode, it feels like Panda's going to be important in the plan somehow. Yeah, fuck Panda. Don't like that guy. Itadori, he's still got his hoodie on, aura farming. That's a chapter, though. Anyway, let's talk about the important thing. I thought this chapter was great, in terms of, like, I think it's great, you know? I think it's explained things. There are definitely some, like, convenient things. Like, Mario's technique is very convenient. Alright, he can do whatever. Sure, that's frustrating. I understand critiquing that. I think that's fine to critique that. But it does feel a lot of the complaints from Modulo, because obviously last chapter's leaks came out, and a massive portion of the fandom were like, this is, like, Gege's terrible endings, this is the worst thing ever. First of all, not over. It's still not over, there's another chapter. Second of all, what's wrong with it? Like, we're doing what the story was always... I feel like this is what I think the problem is. I think a lot of people reading Modulo, right, chose to read Modulo, and until mahoraga appeared, so until we started getting proper fights, the people reading it were just readers, people who could read, who wanted, because there was a lot of text, there was a lot of, like, themes, a lot of kind of, like, sort of, it did get political, there's politics woven through it. It's very philosophical, like, there wasn't many hype moments in Aura until mahoraga came about, and I feel like the people who chose to sit down and read it weekly at that point, before leaks really became a thing for it, were people who are probably still enjoying it. And then mahoraga showed up, and the hype moments in Aura started, and Dborah started, like, frying mahoraga, and mahoraga fried Dborah, and then Yuji showed up, and it became a whole thing, right? And then everyone jumped on the bandwagon, is what I feel like happened, and we got the classic JJK can't read fandom back. And then when it ends with an off-screen fight, and the themes, and the narrative, and the plots, and everything set up was executed exactly as intended, you know, as set up in the beginning of the manga. It's a short manga, 30 chapters. Gege set his stuff up, he got his themes, he kind of gave us a good direction of where it's going, and then, obviously, subverts expectations in some way. I wasn't expecting to go with the whole Eradicate Cursed Energy plan. Either way, that's tying things back into OG JJK, but the point is, I don't feel like there was any massive shift. I feel like the ending is giving us, roughly, I mean, again, it's not over yet, but so far it's playing onto exactly, like, what the themes of the series are about. Like the Sumerians like coming over here, us having a conflict, needing to find like this harmony, this peace, and sort of like not realistic because again it's kind of being resolved, but it's not realistic in the kind of Attack on Titan ending sense where it's like we get a dub kind of, but realistically there's still going to be huge political conflicts between the two parties. We can see that from this chapter with Oski and you know, kind of Maru and Cross being sort of labeled as sinners. You know, they don't necessarily agree with his approach to this, and it's going to be a problem. So conflict will most likely still arise in a way. The issue hasn't been resolved, right? This is no Disney Kaisen ending by the looks of it, all right? People were only saying that because there was a panel of them holding hands, which is just grow up. I mean, like, come on. But it's not like everything's magically fixed, you know? There's still going to be political tensions, and we're still going with those themes, but obviously it's Jujutsu Kaisen as well. It's not all about politics and stuff. I'm sure I can analyze it more, but I'd need the chapter. So the point is, if you read it from beginning, like properly, and really interacted with the themes and the writing and what Gege was setting up, then, you know, the fact that Dborah and Mahoraga weren't going to win their fight and it was going to be nullified was obvious from the get-go. So everyone upset by, like, what the hell is this, like, edging from Gege? Why are we getting the off-screen ritual nullified resolution instead of Dborah doing hype moments and aura and frying Mahoraga? That was never going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, read the series, it was never going to happen. We should have known that when they started fighting, right? So, I feel like a lot of the criticisms I'm hearing are coming from people who jumped on the modulo bandwagon when shit got hype, but I feel like if you've read it from the beginning and interacted with it, it is just doing exactly what it set out to do. I don't feel like there's anything ridiculous that's happening now that we didn't, you know, really see coming out of it when it started, right? Like, I don't think that's crazy. I don't like Yuji, for example. I know a lot of people are really upset. Last chapter, Yuji walked away and everyone was like, that's the last time we're seeing Yuji, what the hell? He didn't do anything. Right, it's obviously not the last time we're seeing Yuji because he's in this chapter, right at the end of it, looking like he's about to do something else. So no, not the end of Yuji. Let the series finish. But at the same time, it's like, you know, bruv, Yuji's not the main character of Modulo. Listen, it was really cool to see him. I really love what we're doing with this character. I think it's very interesting, very unique. And it has potential for the future as well, if Gege wants to do more stuff, but like, bruv, he's not the main character, alright? We weren't going to get a Gojo vs Sukuna, sure. I agree, it would have been cool to see Yuji just exercise Mahoraga instead of Dborah necessarily going home. I agree that, like, if Yuji had just exercised Mahoraga, Dborah wouldn't need to leave. Like, he said last chapter that he needed to leave in order for Yuka to live and the ritual be nullified, but he didn't. Yuji would have just had to exercise Mahoraga and problem solved. That, I can understand there's a bit of a, maybe it's just because we're setting up another series, like, with the Discontons later down the line, I don't know. I would have loved to have seen it, but it wasn't necessary. You know, it wasn't necessary at all. Yuji did what he set out to do, and the power scalers and the agendas and all that are kind of making people go, we didn't get enough of Yuji, like, he fought, like, a burger Mahito and no-diffed him. We have no feats, we have no, like, AP scaling, what is this? Bruv, Gege doesn't care about your power scaling, and to be honest, I think most people don't. I think it's, like, a very vocal minority. I get it, it would be cool, but, like, calling the series bad and the ending bad because Yuji fulfilled his role and had his, like, it was more than a cameo. He became a character, right? An important character in the ending. But it didn't suddenly turn into Yuji Kaisen. You know, it's like, let's not do the Gojo thing again. Gojo's not the MC of JJK. Right? Same here. It's like, let's not treat Yuji like how we treated Gojo. It's just, let's just not do that again. But yeah, I think all that was, like, fine. I mean, obviously, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It is what it is. But I think the themes are wrapping up nicely. There are still things left to be, you know, discussed and sort of, like, so for the ring, for example, like, I want a kind of solid conclusion to Yuka and Tsurugi's opinions on the ring and, like, who gets possession of it. Does it still work? Do they still want to, you know, be Yuta Okotsu? Do they still want to be the next Maki Zenin? Are those still their aspirations? Because they don't really need to now, you know? It's fine if we don't reach that conclusion and they decide they don't need to, because we've made the world better and cursed spirits are less of an issue and Jujutsu sorcerers will be less required. Sure. But I hope there's a dialogue about that. I hope they acknowledge it, you know? As long as that happens, then I like, everything's just coming together nicely. I think it's great. It's solid. Like, it's really good. Again, Maru's technique, yeah, that's, I don't know. I need a Hunter x Hunter style page just, like, over explaining it. It just does whatever. It's a bit much, but yeah, I'm very excited for next chapter. I'm sure there will be more JJK in the future, and I think it's great. I don't really, like, I feel like it is just modulo bandwagon kids that have jumped on you know, during the big hype moments in Aura, didn't really pay attention to the writing in the first half of the series, and are now like, wait, what the hell? What's Gege doing? Why is he fumbling? Like, bruv, it was always gonna go this way. I mean, not everything, but like the mahoraga Dborah stuff, and with the, you know, I don't know, like the kind of more political, or, you know, maybe not political, like philosophical sides, like all the themes have stayed relatively on theme. It's great. I don't know, like I'm yapping. That's what this channel's for, just for yappage. But yeah, those are the leaks. It's pretty simple, to be honest. I'm looking forward to officials because these translations are terrible, and I can't wait for next week. Yeah. Oh, also, dope color page, and like I said, art is amazing. All right, like, subscribe. I'm sorry for the yap. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.